You know, when they said go out karaokeing with the Scorpions, I really had something else in mind. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into Infinite Realms. Today we take a look at the Spider-Man retro carded Marvel Scorpion. And I am excited for this figure because I was waiting for it. Of course, I'm going to point out this was slated to be released in March of 2023, and I know that that was a padded date. I grant you that, but this was a bit of a surprise. I mean, almost 6 months early. And this is what's happening right now. Is I'm getting a lot of pre-orders coming in that were 6 months ago. We're supposed to be slated for 6 months ago. We've got apparently 2 waves of Disney Plus coming in at the same time. I've gotten notices on the Red Skull. I've gotten notices on Classic Loki. I haven't got my notice on Zombie Iron Man yet. So that I've got Beast coming in, Miss Marvel has come in, She-Hulk has come in. It's insane. It's insane. It's like all of this happening at once, and this is just after we had the controller wave, the the Bonebreaker wave. Well, the Bonebreaker wave was a little bit out there, but Bonebreaker did come out. Um, reviewing the Spider-Man stuff came out a little bit early, and New Year Vows and the Lizard the Lizard was on time. Sorry, that was the one that was on time. It was exactly when I expected it. Okay, so sorry about that. I slipped a little there, but yeah, it's just all coming in all at once. And it's causing me to push back reviews that I've had in the queue for a while because I want to get these new ones out of the way first because those are the exciting ones. And then, the ones that are me rebuilding my collection. I find them to be pretty cool, but, give me my choice. Do I want to review the newest one now? Yeah, I mean, I do. I want to get it fresh as possible and get it up on the interwebs. Yes, I said interwebs. Leave me alone. So, yeah, so expect if you've been expecting reviews for certain things, yeah, some of them are getting pushed back a lot. So apologies for that. I'll try to remedy it as soon as this gets done. But the moment I think it's done, then here comes Khonshu Wave. Yeah, I was expecting the Disney Plus wave. I was not expecting Khonshu Wave. That caught me off guard, really off guard. So yeah, I mean, I figure next is probably those retro X-Men that we saw, last month. I mean, jeez, they're throwing stuff down the pipeline. So, after several minutes of me talking about the woes of collecting, let me get the score. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, I did a weird thing with the tail. It was him fresh out of the box. I kind of tied it around him because everywhere I set the tail, it would pull him in that direction once I started the spinner up. So, yeah, I'm going to have to work with it a little bit to get a static pose just to show him and do some comparisons later. But for right now, I just did this, and yeah, it gives you a good idea of the tail, too. I do like the texture in the outfit and the texture in the tail. All come across really good. I mentioned earlier that Scorpion was one of the first Spider-Man villains I ever got introduced to. The first one being, of course, Lizard. And then this one, he was, I want to say Spectacular Spider-Man number 3 or 5 or 9 or something like that. It was in one. I remember it was in the single digits. And it was kind of a cool and comical in the same time. Scorpion rampages the city looking for Spider-Man. And he's mad because he can't take off his outfit now, and Spider-Man just grabs his mask and pulls it off at the end of the fight and says, "You never really tried, did you? You just took Jonah's, I think it was J. Jonah Jameson's word for it." And I thought that was really funny. and really stupid at the same time. And I was kind of a young kid when I read that, so you know. Now, of course, you can get him into some pretty dynamic poses naturally. You do have to work with that tail, though. You can't just have that tail go in one direction or another. You have to really play and give it a balancing act. It ends up looking cool, though. I give you that one. I do like it. It's just another level of difficulty with posing an action figure. It's something to be keeping in mind. It's not light, and I found myself, crunching him forward a little bit more than I do most figures because he's wanting to fall backwards. But once you kind of get a hang of it, it's really not so bad. I can see people getting frustrated with it and going, God, this is awful. I don't think it's awful. I just think it's something to be aware of. And of course, as you can see, the tail is very bendy and it's also very long, which is a good and bad thing. I mean, the bendiness allows for a lot of options. The tail being so long, it does create issues trying to pose, like I said earlier. So things just to keep in mind. But it looks a damn sight better than the one that the original Toy Biz one came with, if you remember that. Okay, and yeah, it did take me a bit, but I figured out how to cheat with the tail, so it can be done. I don't know how good it looks, though. I mean, it's like, yeah, and I suppose I could play with it and make it look better, but, it is what it is. The colors are, of course, from the later, from the 90s appearances of both the comic and the TV show. I was always a little more used to the more muted colors from the 80s, but it's still good. I mean, it works. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. And from all the sources I've read, it's pretty much a straight up repaint of the last Scorpion we got in Marvel Legends. I think the tail's different. I'll look into that to be sure. But I do like it. I mean, it's a cool figure. And welcome addition to my Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, which, I don't buy a villain just because they're a Spider-Man villain. I buy the ones I like, and this is one I like. So there you go. So the only thing I think I might have added would be maybe a couple of hands, and maybe one hand that I seem to remember him having little claws that came out of his wrist. That would have been nice as an additional hand to have one of those coming out. Other than that, I think he's a darn cool figure. I'll give him 4 stars. I'll knock a little bit off just because of the lack of accessories. I realize the tail is enough in most cases, but it just seems like there should have been a little bit more. There's just something missing from the figure. Again, price point seems to be on par with most Marvel Legends, so nothing to write home about there. Kind of confusing with this happening with the line because it's like this one will be just fine, this one will be just fine, this one will be way overpriced. It's not making a whole lot of sense, but I'm gonna get into that a little more when I get Beast, but we'll talk about it. So yeah, 4 stars. Good figure, real good figure. And for some comparison, here's Renew Your Vows Spidey and Armored Daredevil. And you can see how he stacks up there. And here he is again with Deadpool and Kang. Just to give you a better idea of how he stacks with other Marvel Legends. And there he is beside of AEW Supreme Cody Rhodes. Because that's a damn fine figure. Alright. That's going to wrap up my review of Scorpion. Hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help the channel out.